So, first things first, Stephen.
Yes,
How are you?
I'm pretty good. A little jet lagged.
Okay.
Okay.
Understandable. Look,
Yeah.
So before we get into the music, I always like to jump back a little bit. And what I found interesting was you were born in New York, but you were raised in Houston.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in Houston?
I was born on Long Island. I moved around a bunch.
Okay.
I think I moved 15 times.
Okay.
But the biggest chunks, I think Houston was the longest. I was there for 8 years. But it's an interesting place. I feel like the South can get a bad rap or a good rap, but it was nice. People were nice.
Okay.
Really good food.
And then, well, you mentioned you moved around a lot. So once you got to, what age did you get to Houston?
Like middle school. How old are you in like sixth grade?
Sure. So I suppose around maybe 12, 13
Something like that.
Were you making music already?
No.
Okay.
I started singing maybe around like fourth grade.
Okay.
So like 10, 11 maybe. Is that right? 10, 11, fourth grade. And then when we got to Houston, I'd been singing for a little bit, but not really seriously. And then I didn't start taking piano lessons till I was 16,
Okay.
15, 16, because I wanted to write a song. And so I figured once I learned enough to be able to write, I was like, I hate lessons, I quit. But yeah, so I didn't really,
Sure.
I think I wrote my first song when I was like 15, 16.
So do you remember why you wanted to write a song?
I don't know. Well, that's not true. I remember getting, are you familiar with Aqualung?
No, no.
This guy called Matt Hales. He's a singer-songwriter, and I bought his first record, Brighter Than Sunshine, at like a bookstore because I liked the cover. It was like him standing on a beach with a piano. It looked moody and sad. And I remember buying that and listening to it and being like, oh, I want to do that. Like really sad piano music.
And so you took some piano lessons. Did you like it?
Yeah. I took lessons when I was a little kid, and I hated it.
Okay.
So I quit after like not even a month. I don't like I went to I went to Berklee College of Music for a semester. I don't do well with school or like with people being like, do this, do this.
But that's interesting because, well, I wanted to wait, but we can get into it because you went to the Berklee School of Music, which is quite a reputable place. But so, what made you decide that it wasn't for you?
I think I just don't love school that much. And like going to classes, I'm not good at that. I think I was also quite intimidated by everyone there was so talented, where I kind of was like, I don't know about this. And I think I wanted to just try it more than I wanted to learn it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I lasted like a semester. It's a great school, really amazing city.
But obviously there was a reason because you wanted to pursue music, so that's why you went there. So that drive was already there.
Yeah, yeah.
So how did that develop then after you decided to leave Berklee?
I think I started learning a lot kind of after, very soon after leaving. I moved to LA, my brother lived there. And so I got to crash on his floor for like 2 years. And I just started writing songs with anybody that wanted to write a song with me and playing weird shows for like 3 people or 10 people, like really little shows. And I just started writing a lot of songs. I was doing like 2 sessions a day a lot of times and just like trying to figure out what I wanted to do really.
Did you find an answer in those 2 years?
Yeah, I went crazy and I think I realized it took me a while to kind of settle down, and now I've been in LA for 10 years.
Okay.
But I think I've really learned kind of by trying everything, what I like and what I don't like, and what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And I think I learned more by doing than by like sitting in a classroom. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Like I don't know how to read music. I wish I knew how to do that. I don't really know what I'm doing.
But so what have you discovered about your own songwriting? What do you gravitate towards?
Story.
Okay.
I have a really hard time writing something that's not a true story. which can be very limiting, kind of, because sometimes I'm like, I said all the stories. But it can be fun then to kind of try to find different angles or different snapshots of the story and different scenes, kind of stuff like that. But I think because I've written for other artists as well.
Sure.
And I think I tried for a really long time to be like, I'm going to be like a pop songwriter and whatever. And I've just kind of learned like, that's not necessarily I have friends that are wildly successful pop writers. And I'm like, I don't do what you do. And maybe you don't do what I do. And so collaborating can be really fun.
But this is also interesting because I think you were hired by Island and as a songwriter. And is it then, because you say your writing comes from an honest place, it has to be real.
Yeah.
So to write for somebody else, is that difficult?
Most of my songs that have been placed were songs I wrote for myself.
Okay.
Like I had a song with Ellie Goulding.
Sure.
And that started out as a song for my record. And like a song with Pentatonics, the same thing. So it's kind of a fun thing when it's like, I kind of just tell my little story and then somebody else is like, hey, can I try that? But yeah, it's been...
Is that difficult then to give it up?
I think kind of at the beginning, maybe it was, because it felt like, wait, this is my song?
Right.
And now I've tried to really, my like thing that I'm always telling some of my friends that are songwriters, like, don't be precious. So I try to just be like, let it go, let it find a place. Especially if somebody loves the song, like, what am I gonna be like, no. It's like such an honor to have somebody sing your song.
But so then, and then like you say, you don't necessarily do what other songwriters do. So was it very evident that you wanted to perform as well as write?
Yeah, I think when I first moved out, it was to be an artist.
Okay.
And then I was with Island for 3-4 years. And then leaving there, I kind of was not in the best mental headspace. And I think I was like, screw this, I don't want to be an artist. Like, it's hard. And
How come?
I think I'm just really insecure as is. And so throwing in like all the stuff that comes along with being an artist. And it's like basically, especially if I'm writing things that are like real.
Right.
Then I'm like, here, do you like this? And some people are like, yeah. And some people are like, no. And kind of writing so much can be exhausting and kind of takes its toll. So I think, I don't know, I try to protect my creative space a lot more now.
Right.
Because it can feel very like you're putting yourself out there and like some people are gonna like it, some people aren't gonna like it.
But and then I've talked about this with other artists, but in your opinion, is it a difficult business?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just so weird. Like it's unlike any other field of work, I feel like, because it doesn't feel like work, but then sometimes it does feel like work, and then you're like, why does this feel like work? This is what I love. But then you're like, well, I don't love that part of it, or I do love that part of it. And it can feel very, I don't know, I don't feel particularly bitter and jaded. I have in the past, for sure, but it's just such a random kind of thing. Like the weirdest coincidence can lead to the biggest success sometimes, and it's just, I've tried to just like keep my head down. I focus on the song, and then the rest of it kind of will work out, hopefully.
Right.
Fingers crossed.
And you mentioned that when kind of you left Island, you weren't in the best of headspaces. So what turned it around? What?
I think I kind of went out to just be a writer again, and I didn't feel fulfilled by that, I guess. And it just felt kind of like I was reminded in both a good and maybe hard way, like what I'm good at and what I'm not good at. And I was like, I'm not a session writer. Like I don't. And then kind of relearning what I have to say and what stories I have to tell.
Right.
And so then writing this 11 blocks was the thing that really, it was kind of an accident, even writing that song.
Can you tell me how the initial spark started?
Yeah, this girl, Alex Hope, who's become one of my best friends, she worked on a lot of the Troye Sivan record. And I met her on Twitter because I was tweeting at her like, I love this Troy stuff that you're doing and da-da-da. And she sent me a message and was like, oh my gosh, like I just listened to your song, I Want You, like you're so good, I'm moving to LA, let's write. And I was like, okay, yeah. So I went in the first day I met her. I went into her apartment and I sat down and I was like, started talking and I was like, so my ex just moved 11 blocks away from me. I just walked past his apartment on the way over here. Like, I feel like there's a song here, you know, can you help me find it? And she started playing these chords and singing this little melody, and I kind of remembered what that feels like to be like, oh my gosh, I have a story that I want to tell.
Right.
And as that song kind of clicked together, I was like, this is like the best day ever.
So can I assume it is about a real person?
Yeah.
So, maybe not, but do you know if she heard it?
I have to imagine that he's heard it. I don't know that. We haven't talked. Okay. I tried to do a little warning, but that didn't work out so well.